Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Two Guys, Two Beers. I'm your host today, Phantom, and with my co-host today,
Max Q.
How are you doing today, Max?
I'm good. Just waiting to hear back from a company called Coral Sea Brewing in Queensland, Australia. Waiting on them to hook us up with some free beer.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Is it IPA or just regular beer?
It looks like most of them are between lagers and ales. So I'm going to assume just mostly normal beer, but like different kinds, like one's called Tropical Lager and Tropic Ale.
Okay, well, hopefully you get an email back from them soon.
Hopefully.
So
I want some free beer.
Understandable. How was your day other than that?
It was good. I can't complain. I mean, nothing really exciting. I mean, it was still shitty weather here.
I mean, it rained all day in my job.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, between the rain and the clouds, I mean, it's not like I could really do anything exciting.
So I couldn't ask, did you go hiking yet?
No, because I ain't trying to get all muddy and shit and get all that wet-ass sand and everything.
But you don't want to go muddy?
There ain't no place to go mudding around here.
I mean,
at least not legally.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. At least while you can.
No, I'm good. Yeah, pretty much. We'll get into that later. For sure.
Well, let's talk about how the oil spill that happened in Delaware and Maryland. Yeah,
so apparently somewhere between, what was it? Yeah, like you said, Delaware and Maryland, but I know it was for sure on Assateague Island up to one of the rivers in Delaware. But they believe there was fuel oil leaking from a vessel, and they're trying to identify it based on the fuel fingerprint to link it back to at least a company that made the fuel, so that way they can figure out which ship it was leaking. But it leaked 75 tons worth of damage.
So they had to bring out 75 tons worth of damage from the beach. So 75 tons of
oily debris and tar balls
was taken from the. It's not oil as in regular oil that normally leaks. It's more fuel oil. So I want to know what's the damage going to affect. If it's reached there, I'm pretty sure they're destroyed now.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some, but it was from the Indian River Inlet in Delaware to Assateague Island State Park in Maryland. That's where all the areas that were affected. I know it said that Lewis Beach is still present, or currently closed. They're still trying to remove all the debris. The debris was cleaned up by the Coast Guard, waiting for somebody to pay for it. They pay for it, but they plan on charging people. Whoever actually released the fuel is going to have to pay for all the cleanup once they figure out who did it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they already know who it is. They just trying to determine if they're going to sue, how much they're going to sue for.
Well, I mean, they said they just have to pay for the cleanup, like reimburse the Coast Guard completely.
If I was the Coast Guard, I would put a bigger fine than what they really supposed to be.
But my question is, most boats usually have deckhands, right?
Yeah.
So there should have been somebody, and I mean, it's not like you can't miss it. Like, that's a lot of fuel oil.
I mean, it depends, because what if it happened at night?
I mean, but still, you're not going to be sitting there going, captain of a boat should know or notice that his fuel gauge is going down.
Just like the Titanic guy. Wow. He said it's icebergs, and he's like, oh, it's going to be okay.
That was just poor quality build. I've actually seen some original photos from before the day it set off, and you could see that there was like pre-existing damage on the hull and shit like that. Of course,
because it was rushed. It was, from what I read from a documentary, it wasn't supposed to go out, like it was supposed to go off in another 6 months to a year. But then the company who owned it said, if we don't go off right now, we would go bankrupt.
I believe it. But I feel like the boat had to have noticed. I mean, maybe not right away, but like there's no way that they could have gone more than like 3 to 4 hours without noticing, going, huh? Because, I mean, like I said, 75 tons. Yeah, 75,000 tons, wasn't it?
No, just 75 tons.
Was it?
Yeah. You can look it up. I believe it was 75 tons. So, I mean,
I guess 75 tons, but still, that's a lot. I don't know, that's just estimated too, so it could have been more than that.
I mean, or it could have been less, because you know how fuel spread, so it could not be that much.
Yeah, but still, I feel like it'd be enough to notice. At least enough for you to be like, let's check and make sure we're not leaking. I don't know, maybe that's just my opinion.
Well, if it's the military, that's why the Coast Guard was so fast to clean it up.
That'd be fucked up. And then they're just pretending like shit never didn't happen. That's probably why the story hasn't been updated. It's like, this story is like 4 days old, just so you people know. But sorry, we didn't get to it. We've been bullshitting a lot.
I mean, technically, I can see why it take a little bit of a while, because I'm looking at most vessels hold 1.5 to 2 million gallons of fuel. So, I mean, a little 75 tons. And that's just the debris they threw away. Depending on how much like gas leak, really don't know. They could be still out in the sea.
Leaking more fuel.
Which is kind of scary.
I was just going to say that. Like, that's just all they found so far. Just wait until it actually, like, lingers back all over again.
Oh, I'd be more pissed off. Because, well, if, like, a Coast Guard get a call from a huge carrier and say, hey, we ran out of gas some type of way. Was you by Delaware, Maryland? Yeah, how did you know? Sorry, but y'all about to get a big... Like, I see one carrier, it say it holds 4.5 million gallons of fuel.
I mean, I believe it. You got to remember, most ships that does it today are designed to cross like half of the world without fueling or more.
Oh, that's ridiculous. So, I mean, hopefully that don't affect the ecosystem over there, because we're moving. Think about 75 tons of like sand and all type of stuff. That's like I just think about like that movie, how turtles plant their eggs, and then the eggs go to the ocean once they hatch.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit that it could impact. I mean, it could literally destroy reefs, and I mean, you've got to think of the ecological impact on that too.
Yeah, that's why I said, depending on if there's any reefs right there, all them reefs would be destroyed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, depending on where they're heading. I mean, whether it was coming in or going out would be the hard next thing to figure out. I mean, hopefully it was coming in rather than going out.
I mean, the only worst thing is, like, what if somebody messed up on their job and then they really put down, like, the tracking number for the oil. So then now, or the fuel. I mean, sorry.
Well, each fuel has a, like, fingerprint. So they can tell exactly which company it's made it.
I mean, yeah, but the company can make it. It's going to be like, well, today I'm just going to mark the same fuel for everything.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that they don't sit there and go, hey, would you like 87, 90, or 92?
Well, that's what I said. Most carriers should all have the same fuel. So that's what I'm saying. Like, how can you determine the what fuel then people lose?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what they said. I mean, by the way they said it, I mean, it sounds like it's not that complicated, but now that you're saying that, I mean, you kind of got a point.
Because if you go to, like, a dock, I'm just thinking about it's common sense wise. If you go to a dock, it's not like you like, hey, I want this special air fruit, this light fuel. Everybody get the same fuel. So, I mean, like, how can you determine just by what fuel sample you take up what carrier it is?
You know, now you got me wondering, like, can you imagine how many fucking holding tanks they would have to fill something that big?
What you mean?
Like, an average fuel tank at a gas station, like, underground, per tank is usually, like, 10, 20,000 gallons.
Yeah.
Depending on the station, some of them go up to, like, 40,000.
Yeah.
We're talking about millions of gallons.
I mean, that's part of why some ports, like, before you have to get accepted to a port, and they have to let you know, like, what you're going to do at that port, if you're looking to get fuel or what.
I don't know, but still, I'm just saying, like, I feel like the trucks have to go in and out of there all day long.
Oh, I know, yeah. And they have trains full of fuel. The only reason I know that because one of the ship captains came to our job because we deal with the ports, and he explained, like, the whole process of, because, like, my boss had asked him why was he late, like, what happened when y'all late. And it's just like sometimes you have to wait to the port, accept you into the port, because you have to do all this stuff about, like, how many crew members you have. What are you looking to fuel up here? Are you looking to unload any cargo? How much cargo are you looking to load? How long will you be here? Do you have any weapons? Are your weapons legal? Unfortunately, do you have any illegal workers? When they say illegal, like, let's say you have a worker who's legally can work on your ship, but his passport not good in America, then technically he can't legally get off the boat.
That's what I was just going to say. I mean, legally they could still work on the boat. They just can't leave the boat.
So, I mean, I'm not saying you could just illegally get a job. It's just like certain people, you can get a passport to work on a boat, and you good for most countries. But then when you come to a certain country, you can't get off the boat. Which that's when you figure out America passport is really good in a lot of countries.
Fun fact for people that don't know: after all of the pirating, most private vessels now carry armed guards.
Oh, I knew that. See, I also knew like because at first, what's that movie? The Navy, where the Coast Guard had to kill the Samoan pirates.
Wasn't that with Tom Hanks or something like that?
Yeah. Well, after they came out the truth with that movie, they started getting armed people. That's why you start seeing people that have like, if you a captain and your crew members, you pretty much train them with guns.
A lot of them actually hire private security, and then they just go around the boat. And they'll usually have like a team of them, like 10, 12 people, and then they just alternate shifts.
And that's for the big, like you still like a small crew, and you don't have that much money. Yeah, you probably gonna have to buy your own guns. But I know for like, it's plenty of ways you could stop them from doing it, because like technically, no offense to the pirates, but they had the worst of the worst boats. Like they pretty much have shitty ass 1995
best pro boats.
Yeah, or like they have like pretty much the engines of a good boat, and then like it's attached to a shitty boat. Because really, the boat is only loose to get onto the big cargo boats. After that, pretty much the boat is thrown away. Or like you have other pirates who just come back and try to pick up the boat later. So that's why like sometimes for their mission, sometimes they both get destroyed because the huge waves from the cargo ships. If you could do it just right, you could create huge waves and knock down the pirate boats.
Yeah, I mean that's not that hard to do.
And then depending on, I'm gonna tell you the truth, depending on how good your shot is, I think you can legally, depending on what area of the water you're in, and you can prove that you were attacked by pirates, you can legally kill anybody. So you have a really good aim, you can headshot all the pirates.
I want to say legally, as long as you're like 3 miles off the coast of pretty much any country, you can legally kill anybody you want.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Don't hold me to that, but I want to say that's international law of any waterway. It's technically international water once you hit like 3 or 4 miles off of shore.
So legally, people are bringing like ARs, 15s, AK-47s to like, because like at first, like it was a whole documentary about how like pretty much when you get kidnapped, what's most likely gonna happen? Like the company that you really on the ship with, they're gonna try to get a ransom for you. When most companies not gonna go like give up the ransom. It's pretty much you die, and then a lot of their families of the people who die don't get the insurance because they signed the what's it called?
Oh, you talking about like if somebody dies in the like pirating area?
Yeah, they signed the waiver saying like the company is not at fault for this.
Yep. I know a lot of people who sail, and whenever you go through, so like whether it be the Atlantic side of the Panama Canal is fine, but once you hit the Pacific side of the Panama Canal, legally your insurance company does not cover about any ship. Fun fact.
How did you figure that out?
Because I follow a lot of people who sail around the world on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they were telling or explaining it to everyone, and I was just like, "Oh, cool!" And I was like, "But the cool thing is like even if you're sailing personally, you can legally carry guns. The only thing is, whenever you go into each country, you have to declare them. And some countries don't really care; they just tell you to leave them on the boat. And then other countries will just literally put a lock through your barrel, and then whenever you tell them you're leaving, you tell the port person that you're leaving, and then they just come back on your boat, unlock your gun, and you have it back.
Oh, that's learn something new every day.
Yep. Otherwise, I wouldn't even want to do it because I assure you, I ain't getting held by no fucking pirate. Like, please try me. You'll have to find out just how good my aim is.
The pirate's gonna say time for a cock meat sandwich.
Shit, they wouldn't even have a chance.
I mean, some of them some pirates now they will shoot back at you. So. But like for the most part, for the big carrier ships, by the time a lot of people be on, from what I've seen from the new documentaries that I see, a lot of people be on lookups now, and they see a pirate ship or some type of like fake Bass Pro Shop type boat or a canoe with a engine on it. They literally call out people